right, we are live. Hello, everyone. Today on our Lunch and Learn, we're talking about feeling like a fraud. So if you are an overachiever who rarely feels worthy of success, of the success that you're achieving, you are in the right place. And I'm Larissa, and I'm an author, speaker, CEO of Larissa McCook Coaching, and I help people unlock their magic and really become what they're capable of being. And I help you release where you're stuck and take action on it. And I remember when I first got started in this world, right? When I first got started in this world of personal growth, I was in high school, right? And people thought I was smart, but I just studied a hell of a lot because I didn't feel smart. I didn't feel very good at what I was doing. I didn't feel worthy. And I just studied. I did my homework. I did my work. But I remember I got good grades and I never felt like it was anything spectacular, right? I didn't think it was, I always knew I could do better. And because of that, people would say I'm doing a great job. I would recognize that parts of me is doing a great job, but then I always knew I could do better. So I got really confused in my mind. And I was just prepping for high school graduation. And I was in the counselor's office. I don't know why. I didn't go there very often. I wasn't in trouble or anything, but I was in there talking to him about something. And he had a sheet on the desk with everyone's averages. And I just peeked over at it, and it was the final grades right at the end of the year, right before graduation of all of us students. And I was listed as number 2. And I didn't know that. They didn't tell us that. They only told the person that had the highest grade. And so I thought that was really, really cool. And I was like really happy. And then immediately I'd have this self-talk that came up, and I would just put myself down. I got really down on myself because it's like, well, it's not good enough. I know I could have done better. And so throughout my life, I got really confused by success, right? I'm like, I'm doing stuff to be successful, but I'm not really successful because I know I could do better, but I'm doing a lot of stuff and it didn't all match up, right? It didn't feel authentic. It didn't feel very spectacular. Like, let me know if you can relate to this. It's like, I'm going through the motions, but I'm not there in my heart. Really, that's what it was. And I was in this state of confusion for years, actually a couple decades. And one day it all changed. Right. So there was a time I was working with a client at the Pilates studio. So I used to be a Pilates instructor. And there was one client I was working with. And most clients I got pretty good success with pretty quickly. There was one client. We worked together for a long time. She was brilliant. She was amazing. But I feel like her body was wired backwards, right? Everything that was in the book in terms of protocol and post-rehab protocol, nothing really seemed to work. And one day I was just like, I'm going to throw this book out the window because clearly it's not working. She doesn't feel great with all of this stuff. And so I switched everything up. And that day I really started to notice that my gut was right, obviously. But when I changed my strategy, I was really able to help her feel amazing. I helped her feel really strong, felt really capable. And from then on forward, I changed the strategy that I worked with her. And it got me really curious when working with clients, right? It got me curious working with her, but it really got me asking different questions. And it got me moving forward with clients in a completely different way. So I think the curiosity I have in people was one of the biggest things that led me to so many discoveries, especially to where I am today. So there was one of the elements in my journey is fertility, right? And it actually took me 10 years to get pregnant. So many of you know that I have a son. He's 3. He's amazing. He's brilliant. He's wonderful. But it took me a long time to get pregnant. And the very first year I had my son, I was not very happy. I'm like, it took me 10 years to get pregnant. I had this goal. I got this kid. And now what? I wasn't happy. I wouldn't say I was depressed. I didn't have postpartum depression, but it was just, I was not mentally prepared for what was to come, right? I loved my work. I loved the identity I had at work, and he came and everything changed. And I didn't really think through that part when I had him. So the first year was not extremely joyful. I liked him. I loved him, but it was still that disconnected I was coming at it from that disconnected place. Same thing as in high school, right? I'm doing the work, but I'm going through the motions. I was being a mother, but I was going through the motions that first year. And then when he was about a year and a half or 2 years old, I really had something click for me, right? And I got so grateful to be a mother. I got to start seeing the joy that he would bring me, and this feeling of gratitude was so incredible. I didn't recognize what it was before. And I think when I really turned to gratitude and when I really got to that state of being grateful, that is when it got so much fun, because I realized it was not about me. It was about him. It was about everyone else. It was about giving back. It was about being the best I could be, but not for everybody else, not for myself. It was just for the sake of showing up. And I had this gift in front of me. I had this beautiful child in front of me, and he really started to lift me up and elevate me. And the more I turned to gratitude, the more appreciative of him I was, the more appreciative of our relationship I got to be. And it was just a beautiful, beautiful thing. And so I love my son. He is the best kid in the whole wide world. He is 3, but that feeling of being grateful is when everything started to change. So let's talk about feeling like a fraud and how you can stop it, right? If you're one of those high achieving success individuals, yet you don't feel worthy or you feel like a fraud, this is what we're talking about today. So have you ever had someone, maybe you were up for a promotion, or maybe you were getting an award, and people are so excited for you. They are just like raving about you, and you are not very thrilled because you're like, yeah, I'm achieving this award. I know I'm getting it, but deep down, I don't feel like I deserve it, right? They're getting more excited about all these achievements that you're getting in life more than you are. Or maybe you hear people compliment you and you reply, thank you, put a smile on your face, and don't believe it. Inside your head, you're saying, oh, well, I could have done better. I shouldn't get this. That person should get it. I really want it, but I'm not the right person. Why am I even getting this? And you see things happening in your life, like your calendar is busy, you're booked, you're taking action, but something is still missing, right? That is what this is all about, right? That's really what we're talking about today in terms of not feeling like a fraud, because this is a common thing. And I think when you stop feeling like a fraud, you're going to be so much more fulfilled with your work, right? You're going to show up better to work, whether you're self-employed or whether you're working for a company. You're going to perform better in the work that you do. You're going to show up at your best for your wife, your husband, your kids, for those that are closest to you. You're going to see an improvement in your health. You'll probably sleep a lot better at night because you're not going to be worried about everything. And just overall, you will be happier. And not just by putting a smile on your face and faking it. It's like, it's not the out there happy, it's the in here happy. You're going to be happy literally from the inside out. But it's going to come from shifting that feeling of feeling like a fraud to not. So when you feeling like a fraud, it's often associated with the imposter syndrome or imposter phenomenon, which was actually introduced in the world of therapy in 1978. And Dr. Pauline Clance and Suzanne A. Imes, they came up with this concept of imposter syndrome. And basically what imposter syndrome is it's a psychological pattern where an individual, often a very talented individual, doubts their skills, their talents, their accomplishments, and has this persistent internalized fear of being exposed as a fraud, right? It's like, I'm talented, I have all these skills, I'm getting achievements, but I don't feel worthy from the inside out, right? I feel like I'm going through the motions and I feel like a fraud. And what if other people find out, right? It sounds silly, but when you're in that state, and if you feel like you are a fraud, it really sucks, right? It eats away at you. It's like a cancer that's just eating away at you. And it takes your time, it takes your energy, and it doesn't feel good. It consumes your thoughts, right? The amount of energy that we spend on things like this is phenomenal when we're in that state, right? This state of state of imposter syndrome, or the state of overachievement where we really sabotage ourselves, it's found in high achievers, right? We don't give ourselves credit. And sometimes we might attribute the success that we get to other people, right? And often there might be a need or a desire to get attention, or to be the best, or to be special, right? We might actually be seeking attention, and by putting ourselves down, we're actually inviting others to compliment us, even though on one side we don't feel worthy, we don't feel good about it, yet we're begging for feedback, we're begging for praise, we're begging for that on the other side of things. And so there's often a fear of that failure, right? Like when you have that imposter syndrome, there is a fear of failure, or sometimes a fear about guilt or success, right? If we do succeed, what are others going to think? What are others going to perceive me as? Like, I can't be too successful because maybe I'll lose all my friends. And so there could be a lot of different stories. And I think all of these are valid. All of these are valid, and they're all stories. Right? They're all stories. And so when you really recognize what your specific story is, right? If you have imposter syndrome, if you are not recognizing yourself for what you do, if you feel like a fraud, you have a story behind it. What is your story? Right? And it might take a while to recognize it. It might come very quickly if you've done some work on it, or it might take you a little while to really recognize what the real story is, not the one you tell people, because often what you tell people isn't the truth. It's not a lie, but it's not like the deep truth. When you get to the core essence of the deep truth, that's when you can let it go. And really letting that feeling of being a fraud go, letting the imposter syndrome go, letting the fear go, letting whatever is holding you back, letting that bullshit story go, that is when you're going to show up for your world. That's when you're going to show up for your family. That's when you're going to show up for your community. That's when you're going to show up for the world at large in whatever it is that you're doing. And so there are a couple things that I want to recommend. Have some dandelion tea, have some dandelion here. There's a couple things that I'd like to recommend, and I think that I want you to start thinking about if you are feeling like a fraud, if you are in this state, because it's simple to change, right? Change is inevitable. Personal growth is a choice. Yes, I'm getting some hearts and some likes on that. So change is inevitable. Personal growth is a choice. And it is simple to change, but it's not necessarily easy. Okay. So the first thing you want to do is you got to recognize that nobody's perfect, and yet everybody is, right? We were born as perfect beings. We were born as perfect individuals, right? We were born, whether you were religious or not, we were born in the image of God, and God doesn't make mistakes. Maybe you don't believe in God. Maybe you believe in universe or in something else, but there are no accidents in this world, and the world operates by law. And so we were born as absolutely perfect beings, and everything that happens in our life, in the lives around us, in the world around us, happens for a greater good. It happens on purpose. The universe has a greater plan for us. And when we make a decision to start to step up and learn how to work with the plan instead of against it, you won't be putting your foot on the gas and on the brake at the exact same time. You're going to be accelerating when it's time to accelerate and slowing down when it's time to slow down. It's not going to be jerky, and it's not going to be both things at once. You're going to actually work with the flow. So you've got to recognize that you are a perfect individual. You are a perfect being. And that doesn't mean you have to be a perfectionist, right? There's a difference between being perfect, because you are perfect. I am perfect. We are all perfect. There's a difference between being perfect and a perfectionist, because perfectionism doesn't exist. Nobody can do absolutely everything right. All we can do is our best. And your job is just to keep doing a better and better job. So you want to recognize yourself for what you are doing well, what you are good at. Sounds simple, not always easy. What are you good at? Sometimes I'll talk to clients and they can't think of one thing that they're good at. right? It might take 5 or 10 minutes to come up with one thing you're good at. But once you unlock that door, once you unleash the potential of what you're good at and you start reinforcing it, you're going to turn on your cybernetic mechanism to get more of it, right? We have a just like planes, right? Or a GPS system, right? Planes have a cybernetic mechanism. You're in Toronto, you're flying to Vancouver, and you're never going to go straight there. You're never going to take a straight course. You're going to move in that direction, but there's going to be winds that veer you off to the side, and then you pull yourself back on course. And so when you turn your cybernetic mechanism on, then that is when things start to change. When you start to recognize yourself for the good things that you're doing, then you will turn your own personal cybernetic mechanism on to get more good. You will keep looking at Vancouver. You'll be like, going to Vancouver. I'm going to get there because I know where I'm focused. But you've got to do that by recognizing yourself for what you are good at and what you are doing. You want to banish limiting beliefs. This is another one. Simple, not always easy. Once you learn some really great strategies, you can do it really, really fast, right? There's some tools that we use that we could do this really, really quickly with people. And sometimes you might be holding on to these beliefs, these stories, these bullshit stories for years or decades, right? I know I was. And at first I didn't want to let them go because they were so comfortable. I was so comfortably uncomfortable. But when I did, that's when everything changed. There's a Bob Newhart video, Stop It. If anyone can put that in the chat, that would be great, right? Bob Newhart, Stop It. Or maybe Allison, I see you're there. So if you're still around, then pop the link to that video in the chat for me. That'd be amazing. I think everyone would really, really benefit from it because that is a really great example of some of the stories we tell ourselves. And in this case, it's an extreme scenario and it's hilarious. It's a hilarious video. But when you're in it, you create these stories. So you got to banish limiting beliefs and literally stop it. So the last part of this is if there is something you legitimately don't feel good about, like let's look at it very specifically. If you feel like a fraud or an imposter because you say you're going to do something, but you're not, then go do that thing. So you can say you do that or you can deliver that result. If you are not congruent with what you are projecting, go get those skills. It doesn't mean you have to have them all right away, but it means you got to be moving in that direction. So if there are legitimate skills, concrete actions that you need to take in order to feel like you're not a fraud, go and take them. Get up off your butt and go do them. Don't dwell on them. Don't let people give you compliments, but then you think that you want to be doing something else or you're projecting something else. Go do those skills. If you need a certification, go get that certification. If you need to make a phone call and get rejected 10 times, 20 times, 30 times, go make the phone call. Go do what you need to do so that you can feel authentic in your shoes. So you can feel really, really great with how you're showing up. Thank you so much, Allison. I think that's going to be an amazing video. So everyone check it out after this. It's going to be so much fun. It's a few minutes long and it's totally worth it. So basically, you got to recognize yourself. Just to recap, you got to recognize that nobody's perfect. Yet we are born that way, right? We are born in God's image. So we are born as perfect individuals, but we don't need to have perfectionism. You want to recognize yourself for what you are good at. And you also need to banish those limiting beliefs, however you do it, whether it's through your own work, through your own questioning, through your own process, or through hiring a coach or going through a program or something that supports that. There's many different ways to get rid of limiting beliefs. And maybe the Bob Newhart video will do it for you. I don't know. Everyone's different. If there's also something that you really, really don't feel good about and you want to feel good about it, go take the actions to build the skills and build the ability so you can walk your talk, so you can really claim it and you can own it. That will build the most pride. That will be amazing and incredible when you're done. And these are simple sounding things, but they're not easy. And so I have two things I can offer you if you're interested in really maybe taking this a step further. So the first is Self-Image Bootcamp. This is an event that I ran a couple months ago, and I'm bringing it back because I had so many incredible transformations and many people begging me to bring it back. So I'm bringing it back in a slightly different form. It's going to be better and even more incredible. We're really going to look at unlocking your magic so that you can pave the path for an incredible 2021. 2020 ain't done yet, so you will still have time to end the year with a bang, but you can really get yourself ready for a incredible new year. So Self-Image Bootcamp, we're going to be looking at who you are, who you want to be, and what the gap is in order to get there. And lots of powerful transformations. I will be telling you about them over the next couple of weeks. I'll be sharing some client success stories, and I'll be sharing more about the Self-Image Bootcamp as we get along. And then the other thing is, if you don't want to wait till December 7th when the Self-Image Bootcamp starts and you want to skip the line, then book a call with me. I've got a few spots left, and I've just opened up some times in my calendar over the next couple of weeks. So book a call. We can have a chat, and I'll do a nice quick rundown to see if there's something I can do to help you. And if I can't, then I can definitely refer you. So both links to the Self-Image Bootcamp and to booking a call with me are in my calendar. So I hope to see you at one of those or both of those, whatever is a good fit for you. And you know, you are born an incredible individual. So there is nothing stopping you from recognizing the perfection that exists within you, from setting that perfectionism aside, for recognizing yourself for what you are truly good at, and banishing those limiting beliefs, because you can achieve, you can be, do, and have anything you want. You were born an incredible person, and you have magic inside you that is waiting to be unlocked. So give it a chance, go for it, and go get the skills that you need in order to make it happen. If you legitimately need to go do something, go do it now. Go take the first step right after this is done. Make the phone call, send the email, go look something up, go buy whatever you need online. Take the next step to move you forward. Don't sit and wait. That is how you stop feeling like a fraud. Take action and keep taking action in the right direction. So join me for the Self-Image Bootcamp on December 7th. Starts December 7th. We're going to go for a week. And also book a call if you want to skip the line and you think that this is something you want to explore a little bit further. So I remember, you know, the gratitude that I felt with my son, I just want to go back to that. And he is the most incredible little kid. And I have to say that he is very authentic. I love kids because what you see is what you get. They don't put on this fake persona. They are completely honest. They aren't always tactful, but they are very honest with you. And one of the things my son and I started doing at the cottage a couple months ago is giving gratitude. This is his November gratitude list. And so every couple days, every few nights, we fill in his gratitude sheet and I hold his hand and we write together, and he tells me all the things he's grateful for. And I feel like the feeling of gratitude that I have for having him has really translated to him, because it is so easy for him to recognize the beautiful things in his life, to know that he's an amazing and incredible person, an incredibly loved individual, and to really shine, right? That curiosity that I had with my client, right? That led to realizing that movement is so much more than just the body. It really is about the person, right? Personal growth is about the person. Whatever you're doing, whatever you're looking to grow or improve on, or wherever you are in life, that is what it's about. It's about who the person is on the inside and expressing that on the outside. And that curiosity about learning about people really led me to that state of being grateful, right? It was a natural evolution to getting to that point of gratitude, right? And really, when I was confused and snooping on the, didn't snoop, I just glanced at the counselor's desk and saw those grades. That really led me to that tailspin for 20 years, right? Am I good enough? Am I not? I'm doing all the work, but I'm not fully present, right? I would go through the motions, but I wasn't really showing up. That led me to a huge state of confusion for nearly 2 decades. And once I realized exactly where I was meant to be, once I realized what I was doing and the direction I truly wanted to head, I realized that I had been completely on the right track the entire time. At the time, it felt confusing. At the time, it felt terrible. But it really was exactly where I needed to be every single event in my life, especially the worst ones, the worst things that have ever happened to me. I'm the most grateful for. All of those things that were from a state of confusion led to this incredible gratitude that I now have today. And I am so incredibly blessed and grateful to be here with you. So I hope this helps. I hope this gives you a new perspective on really shifting and not feeling like a fraud in your life. It is simple to stop feeling like a fraud. Not always easy, but you go take action on something right away. Go make it happen, even if it seems teeny tiny. Go recognize yourself for something that you're incredible at. Go make that phone call. Go take that limiting belief that you have and throw it out the window, literally, right? Go take action now and realize you have perfection within you. You were created as an image of perfection, and that's why you were put on this planet, because you are here to do incredible, grateful, magical things. So go out and make them happen. And I will see you guys again soon. Here's my goodbye button.